listen to a recording and go, man, why don't I sound like that? Even though I'm playing all the notes right, why don't I sound like the recording? If that's you, you are not alone. Hey, I'm Samantha, and honestly, this is something that most harp students run into at some point, and I know that I definitely did when I was learning the harp too. And what I've learned is that if you want to take your harp sound from this to this, the first place to look is actually not in your fingers, but in the rest of your body. One of the coolest things about the harp is that our bodies are in direct contact with the part of the instrument that makes the sound. But what that means is that the state of our body can really affect what comes out of our harps. A few years ago, I got to go to the World Harp Congress in Cardiff, and the presenter at the Alexander Technique workshops said something I thought was really cool. The body is the first instrument, and it must resonate. What that means is that if your body is tight, tense, and stiff, then your harp is going to sound tight, tense, and stiff. But if your body is relaxed and open, that's how your sound is going to be as well. Okay, so we need to be relaxed in our bodies. Great. How do we do that? Well, the good news is that you don't actually have to do anything. The secret is all in your mind. To show you how to kind of get started doing this, we're going to do a little activity together. So what I want you to do first is just play a little bit of something on your harp as you normally would, and just kind of see if you can notice how your body feels, what it sounds like, just kind of any observations that you can. And then we're going to do a little mind-body activity together. So the first thing I want you to do is sit comfortably in your chair. We want to have your feet flat on the floor. We want to have you comfortably sitting on your sit bones, not rocked too far back. We want a neutral position for your spine, so not slouching, but not really forcing your chest forward either, and just nice and neutral overall. Basically, it should just feel like you don't have to work super hard just to sit upright. Then what I want you to do is just sort of notice your spine going from the base of your hips to the top of your head, and just think about how long your spine is. Maybe notice the ceiling above your head. Maybe imagine a little extra space between each vertebrae. And again here, we're not stretching, we're not straining, it's just the way you're thinking and paying attention to your body. So nice long spine. Next, I want you to think about the width of your body. So maybe we think about your shoulders and your collarbones drifting left to right. Again, not stretching, just the ends of your shoulders just kind of floating off to the sides. Maybe think about a little smile across your collarbones. And that's not the only place we can think about width as well. We can maybe think about at our hips. We can think about them expanding from side to side. Something I like to think about is if you know where your pants pockets are, kind of right where your hips and your legs kind of join together and bend. You can think about your pants pockets just sort of melting into your chair. And then we also want to think about the depth in our body a little bit. So from front to back, we want to kind of think about, we can think about at the chest, how far it is from the front to the back. In your stomach, by your hips, that distance there, front to back. Even in your head as well, we've got a lot of space here in our head, and we just start sort of imagining ourselves taking up space, essentially, having lots of room in the body, having lots of freedom to move. Now that we've kind of thought about those things, do you feel any different in your body than you did before? I feel like I'm feeling a little bit more relaxed. I feel like I'm holding in less places than I was before. If your answer right now is I don't know or I didn't really feel anything, that's totally okay as well. But I'd encourage you to keep paying attention to how your body feels and seeing if you can imagine your body as being a little more open, a little more free, a little longer, a little wider. But now it's time to actually translate this to playing the harp. So before we bring the harp back, before we lift our arms up, we're going to do one more little activity. So what I want you to do in just a moment, you're going to lift your arms and think about lifting it from your shoulder, from right here. Okay, so let's go. lift those arms up from the shoulder. Just notice how that feels, and then we'll put them back down. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to think about our collarbones supporting the weight of our arms. Our arms are kind of just hanging off the collarbones. And we're just going to wish for our arms to come up. We're not going to specifically lift or push or whatever. We're just going to let them come up. We're going to maybe think about our collarbones here. Okay, let's go. Does that feel any different to you? Personally, I feel like I'm doing a lot less work and my arms feel a lot more relaxed. So now that we know how to raise our arms in a little bit more of a relaxed way, before we go to play the harp, we want to kind of set ourselves up for success by just quickly going through some of the thought points that we did before. So I'm sitting in my chair comfortably, my feet are flat on the floor. I'm going to think about my long spine. I'm going to think about my wide shoulders, my wide hips. I'm going to think about my body from front to back. I'm going to think about my collarbones supporting the weight of my arms and just wish for them to come up. And then I'm going to bring my harp to my shoulder. Okay, I'm going to place my fingers on the string, and then I'm just going to play a little something. What do you think? Does that sound any different from what you played at the beginning of the video? Does it feel any different from before? Now, if you find it really, really difficult to actually play your harp and think about all these things going on in your body at the same time, that's totally okay. That's extremely normal. Really, as humans, we can only focus on one thing at a time, but a little bit goes a long way. Even if all you do is set up your body in a more relaxed way before you begin playing, chances are you're going to continue playing more relaxed than if you didn't set yourself up that way in the first place. And hey, you know, if you've got a long note somewhere or a rest, maybe you can kind of just circle your attention back for a second. Maybe there's one spot in particular where if you think about that spot and relax it, the rest of your body might kind of unfold in turn. For me, that tends to be my hips. If I think about just like relaxing my hips, not kind of clenching in my butt, I find that my chest will open up, my arms feel freer. So maybe if there's like one spot you want to kind of check in with from time to time as you're playing, even if you can't do it the whole time, it's really going to make a big difference in your playing. A little bit goes a long way. Now, in addition to relaxing our muscles, how we actually set up our bodies and our posture in the first place can really contribute to how relaxed or how tense we are, and therefore how stiff our playing sounds. So check out this video next to make sure that your harp posture is helping you and not hurting you. And if you'd like to have a harp teacher help you out with this stuff instead of just wondering if you're doing it right, check out the link in the description for more info on my harp studio. Thanks for watching. See you later.